Hello and greetings from Northumberland. It's the 20th of November. It's before dawn on a still but cold Northumbrian morning. Today we continue with another Anglo-Saxon saint, a king, King Edmund. Now we've moved 200 years. Yesterday we were talking about Hilda, who lived in the 7th century, died in 680. And now we move forward 200 years to the 9th century and to King Edmund, who died at about 870. Now, things will have moved on in the country. At the time of Hilda, Christianity was still being established. It was still growing. It was, if you like, the coming faith based on both Celtic and Anglo-Saxon evangelists and people from the European continent. And it was from Europe that much of Christianity came in one way or another. 200 years later, Christianity was much more established, and Edmund was born into a Christian situation and became a Christian king. But there was a new threat to Christianity, and it came from across the North Sea, from Scandinavia, from the Danes, the Vikings, you know, the people that we know with their wonderful helmets. And this has been a threat for a long time. Viking raids had been part of the threat to England and to all parts of England, but particularly the East Coast, for a long time. But the raids got bigger and more bold and moved from short raids to actually attempts to take over the country. And Edmund's forces were defeated by a Danish force. He was arrested, he was imprisoned, he was very badly treated. But in all of this, he cried out to God, and he kept his faith. And it was at this time that he was killed. He was killed, he was executed by being shot with arrows. And he did so while still professing the faith. And this death, as is so often the case, became a profound witness. And his body was buried. People began to come to a shrine, and the place where he was eventually buried was called Bury St Edmunds. And it was there in East Anglia that eventually, on the abbey, on the church where he was buried, there became a cathedral with the foundation of the Diocese of St Edmundsbury in Ipswich early in the last century. But what we have here is the witness of a Christian who, in the face of great persecution, maintained his faith. It's an important message. It's an important message because there are still Christians in our world who are persecuted for their faith. I don't just mean people who are insulted because they're Christians, but people who face physical threats, people who face imprisonment, torture, and even death because of their Christian faith. We can easily forget that in our present situation, but we should not. And we should rejoice that the witness of Christians throughout the ages, the blood of the martyrs, as the saying goes, has been the seed of the church. So we give thanks for the courage of people like Edmund. We pray for those who are persecuted, and we ask that all may have the freedom to express their faith and to proclaim the gospel of Jesus. May God bless us at this time.